Siguro if there's one thing na you have to keep in mind sa pag-enroll nyo ngayon sa law school, is that law school is tough. But so are you. Ganun na lang yung mindset mo. Kasi kung weak shit ka, hindi talaga tatagal. Hi, I'm Attorney Chloe Balginto, and for today's video, I thought of maybe sharing some pieces of advice that I think could help law students excel in law school. Or kung hindi man excel, maybe not have that hard of a time in surviving law school. These are from my personal experience, and I don't think na you have to take everything that I say to heart. Um, take it with take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. So, um, these are things na I think help me do well. I mean, and by all means na do well is the standard ko na well. I don't think na this is the secret para mag cum laude ka or whatnot. Ang akin lang naman is I enjoyed law school and I did not have a hard time. Kasi siguro and adjusting sa lawyering, it was not that difficult. It's still hard, but it's not that difficult because I think whatever principles or habits I had in law school, I just took it with me and improved pa when I started practicing as a lawyer. So, yeah, let's get started. So, I think one of the most important skill ba siya? Skill na one should learn or prepare for law school is mental toughness. So, mental toughness kasi nga, law school's difficulty, the stress, and the rigor na kailangan sa pag-aaral, sa pag-handle ng anxiety, sa stress, is different from college level na hirap. And I don't know how to further elaborate kung gaano kahirap yung hirap ng law school, but I think once you start law school, you quickly realize ano yung ang hirap na sinasabi ko. But anyways, yun nga, law school is a mental sport and it will really test your patience and discipline. So, hindi enough na mataas yung IQ mo. It's really also a test of your resilience emotionally, physically. And I think those things would be just a byproduct if you're mentally tough enough to handle the pressure ng law school. So, what do I mean by pressure? Pressure na, especially for those who are working. I was fortunate enough na to be just a part-time employee while doing law school. Pero yung pressure na having to answer sa responsibilities mo sa work and then going to class and then needing to perform well, then after the class we have to study pa. It's a different kind of pressure, like kaya nga na you have to be mentally tough for. So siguro you can improve this by some drills or exercises na would help you clear up your mind and not be carried away ng emotions or anxiety mo. And for me, what helped was parang pep talk with myself almost every day. Na although things are hard right now, pero parang bukas, mag-improve ka lang din. If bad rest, it's just a bad rest, it's not a bad life. Kaya you always try to talk to yourself kasi not all the time you'll have support from friends or family. So it really is very important na you cultivate that mental toughness within yourself. So ako personally, meron ako experience one time na during recitation, I was so nervous kasi we had to recite provisions sa Oblicon verbatim. And we were taking turns sa class, sa mga classmates ko. And I was the last one to be called. And I did not notice na I was holding my breath the entire time na I was waiting for my turn. So when I got up, parang siguro yung oxygen, yung last few oxygen na nasa katawan ko, napunta na sa paa ko and I can't breathe anymore. I ended up crying. So, hindi ko talaga na-recite yung provision. And then, fortunately, the professor understood what I was experiencing and he just made me sit down. Pero there, I I realized na that should not happen again. I should not cry in front of the class, in front of a professor, kasi nga, it will not make a very good impression. So, from then on, I tried to be more self-aware and mentally present sa ginagawa ko. And not, yun nga, na makalimutan mong huminga. Parang ganun. It's a test na rin na hindi ka kainin ng anxiety mo dapat. So, yun. From there, I just made sure na lang na I was prepared enough na if ever may recitation man na ganong klase, kasi I really hate memorization, I just have to be really prepared para hindi na lang ako kabahan when the moment comes. So, that's for mental toughness. Next is discipline over motivation. I think I've brought this up na before in a video, but basically, you just have to force yourself or be able to force yourself na kahit hindi ka motivated enough to do something, you have that habit or discipline na you have to get up and really read. You have to spend more time printing your cases ahead or preparing your own digest and not wait na for motivation to hit you, because not all the time as well na the motivation will come or that you're sure that you're emotionally stable for that day to accomplish everything that you have to do. So, ako na lang, siguro nung simula pa nung first year, I try to have a routine na I try to follow every day. And from there, parang nasa system na, nasa katawan ko na yun na magigising ako maaga, ganito na gagawin ko, next, 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 next. And I don't really have to think about it anymore. And that made studying and preparing ahead for the stuff na I might be unprepared for easier, kasi I'll have to just insert it na lang sa planned activities ko for the day compared sa I wait for motivation to hit me. It's not every day that I'll be willing or energetic enough to do what I have to do. So it's the same actually with lawyering na there are days na you don't feel well enough, pero if you have that discipline, you're gonna show up for work. You can't just, kasi hindi ka motivated today, you won't appear sa hearing mo. So that's what I noticed, especially sa mga older lawyers. It's that they just really show up. There will be days that they're not as prepared, they're not as healthy, pero they have to show up for their clients. So I think sa law school pa lang, we have to develop that discipline that's needed for the profession. What helped siguro for me was time blocking. Time blocking, yun yung I would lay out my calendar and then from certain time, pero siguro kasi I was able to sa mga second year, third year na know what or how long I would have to read. For example, 30 cases in a day ang kakailanganin kong aralin. How long will it take me to read and make my notes? So, I'll block my calendar na ganitong amount of time ang kailangan ko para matapos yung task, and then I would insert breaks in between kasi I don't know, I noticed that it's not healthy na tuloy-tuloy ang study. So when you insert breaks or naps in between, you'll feel more refreshed. And what else ba? I made sure na every day I read kahit a little. Kahit na I'm sick, I have migraine, the moment I start feeling better, I'll sit down, I'll open a book, I'll read a little, or I'll play a podcast. Just a little of dose of law every day. And what else? I also realized na success in law school is not, especially passing the bar din, para ma-feel mo siya later on na culmination siya ng every single day na you worked hard. Every single day na you showed up for law school. And it's not some heroic na by chance or by luck na nakapasa ka ng bar exam. Although there is a big portion of luck and chance na inaral mo ay lalabas. Pero luck means ano yun? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So kung hindi ka prepared, you did not have the discipline sa law school to prepare, kahit na ikaw pa yung pinakaswerte supposedly, yung may opportunity na makuha lahat ng tamang sagot. Kung hindi ka naman prepared, di ba? Parang you still won't pass. So, yeah, success in law school is not one big heroic moment. It's more, actually you feel it na parang mas precious yung pagpasa mo, precious yung pagtatapos mo ng law school when you think of the hardest days. You think of the lowest of the low and that you still manage to pick yourself up and show up. So, yeah. Discipline over motivation. Next point. Next point is caring enough. You have to care enough sa ginagawa mo, actually. You have to care enough na alamin bakit ganito yung batas and anong effect ng inaaral mo. And when will you be able to use it? How is it relatable? Or how may you relate it sa lives of the people around you? Parang ganun talaga yung nature of the profession. Kasi nga, the law is meant to serve the people. The law is meant to be used by us. So, sa atin, kung wala kang pake, ba't ka nasa law school? Parang mahirap yun eh. You have to care enough, not just for your own financial gain in the future. You have to care enough na one day, itong inaaral ko, gagamitin ko to sa pag-save sa client ko. One day, ito ang makakapalaya sa isang bilanggo. Ganun siya. Although sometimes, medyo cheesy. Pero, yeah, you get the point. We're not here for selfish reasons alone. Meron talagang selfish part, of course, in any kind of job. Pero lawyering nga is such a noble profession na we owe it to the people to care. You owe it to yourself to know then your reason why you're fighting in law school. Sometimes it's not being the smartest that will get you ahead of others. It's you caring more, you putting in the effort, the extra effort, you staying up later than others kasi you're really passionate about what you do. And yun nga, you're there to one day help others. The students who make it in the end are usually the ones who care enough to keep showing up even during the worst days. So it helps then. You keep reminding yourself of your why. And that's something I learned sa marketing na in anything that you're selling or you're doing, you have to ask yourself the whys. Why am I doing this? Why is this important to me? Why? Until you figure out yung core value mo, yung main reason that's driving you every day, and bakit ka bumabangon, parang ganun. And never forget that. Always try to remind yourself. So, care enough. This one I had to learn the hard way. Work-life balance. Siguro, after my leave of absence of a semester, dun ko siya na-realize talaga na what I did nung first year, second year was so unhealthy na I did nothing but to read for like 8 to 10 hours a day. Tapos, kinakain ako ng anxiety ko, hindi ako nag-exercise, I don't go out to meet friends. Parang umikot talaga yung life ko sa pagbabasa, sa pag-aaral, sa pag-prepare sa class, and trying to impress my professors na it drove me crazy. So, I do not recommend that you do the same. Kasi, yes, during those times, I had the highest grades, pero after the semester, I felt so burnt out. end of semester, I feel like I have to like gather myself back, like, put pieces together na, na nag-disintegrate ako. Slowly disintegrating as the STEM ends. Kailangan ko na naman pick up ang self ko after a semester. So that's not how you should do it. I think you should, yun nga, have work-life balance and enjoy what you're doing. Insert ka talaga ng breaks in between. And sometimes, yung balance does not mean equal time. Na you say na kung nag 4 hours ako na study today, kailangan 4 hours din later ang gala ko. It's not really like that. Just the enough time lang na you have a break. Kasi, again, kung inubos mo na yung 4 hours sa paggala for the day, parang mapapagod ka na rin, di ba? Hindi ka na rin makakapagbasa for the next day or minsan may hangover. Let's say you were on a drinking spree. Pagka next day, hangover ka, you can't study ka agad. So, dapat sakto lang. Sakto lang. And your mind is your primary tool. So, you really have to keep it healthy. Feed it with happy thoughts and protect it. So, yeah. Go figure out paano balance yan. What's the last one? The last one, siguro, is mastery over memorization. Like, any time of the day, mas pipiliin ko talaga yung naintindihan ko yung concept behind it kaysa sa na-memorize ko verbatim yung batas. Although sa bar exam, yeah, it's important na as much as possible you know the law and the keywords. Pero in law school, sa akin parang mas importante yung talagang naintindihan mo at heart. By heart? At heart. Which one? The grammar Nazi. Cannot figure out. Basta yun. That you really are familiar with the concept. Kasi you can still figure out a way to explain it through your own words kung ganun. Kesa sa na-blackout ka kasi hindi mo na alam yung exact word. Trying to memorize verbatim ano yung provisions ng law. That always saved me sa recitation because I might not be the one sa class na very good on rote memory na I memorize word by word yung binasa ko. Pero kapag tinanong na ako to explain a case or the rationale behind it, I'm kind of confident na I understood the concept behind it. Siguro one technique that helped me was Feynman. How do you pronounce that thing? Feynman technique. So Feynman technique basically tests you, or you test how much you understood the concept or a term in a way na you can explain it to a 5-year-old. You should be able to explain the concept simple enough na a layman could understand it. Kasi that way, big sabihin, you yourself din naintindihan mo yung inaaral mo and not just merely memorizing it. One subject I struggled was siguro succession. Actually, I had to take succession twice. Kasi the first time I took it, I could have easily passed the subject kasi the professor was gonna give me a removal exam pa. Kumbaga kasi na-INC ako kasi I was sick the final exam. Tapos sabi niya, okay, you can take for compliance na lang the final exam at a later time. But I knew in myself talaga na I did not understand the concepts behind succession. So, inulit ko yung subject. And then, hirap pa rin ako. Second take ko, hirap ako intindihin talaga kung what is preterition? Parang ganyan. Paano yung reserva truncal? So, what's reserva truncal? I don't understand talaga. So, what I did was, I really had to draw it. And then, the illustrations would be my way of knowing na naintindihan ko na talaga. Kasi if the illustrations that I was making made sense, it means, yun nga, it means na I've mastered the concept and not just merely memorized it. Kasi it will not work talaga sa succession na memorize mo kung ano yung reserva troncal. Pero nung in-apply na siya, lost ka. Sino yung reservista doon? Parang, what else? Law school is not a trivia contest na you're gonna be asked to identify all the time. Kasi it's preparing you sa practice. And sa practice naman, you're not gonna be using the jargons or the legal terms to talk to your clients. You're gonna have to explain it in a simpler manner na they understand the concepts or the legal concepts behind their issue. So, you have to practice it sa law school pa lang. The legal principles, hindi enough na memorize mo siya eh. Yun nga. Kasi kapag kinonect na yung different concepts, that's another level of understanding na you can only, kumbaga, comprehend if yung fundamentals naintindihan mo. What else? And I did that I improved mastery through practice and repetition. Practice means I try to simulate na as if I have a recit today, and then I try to explain the concepts, or I try to actually talk to my dad. I talk to my dad and ikukwento ko sa kanya yung natutunan ko, and if he understands it well and he can repeat it sa akin, kasi naintindihan niya. If he'll ask me, ano? Most likely, ako lang yung nakaintindi. Ako lang nakakalam ng mga technical terms na ginamit, mga Latin maxims na yan, pero siya hindi niya naintindihan. So what's the point, diba? So I'll have to try again. Sometimes it gets really frustrating, pero that practice that I was doing with my dad, I did not realize would be something na will really help me support. Kasi ngayon, if I have to explain it sa client and then echo it sa judge, parang may difference yun na yung client ang kausap mo tsaka yung mga things na you have to state in court na the judge will put on record, or the court will put on record. So, dapat you can switch in between sa dalawa. So, yeah. Mastery comes from intentional practice. So, you have to read cases, you have to write your answers, and try explaining the law in your own words. But, hindi naman yung sobrang creative writing. Yung sakto lang na paraphrased. Ganun. I think that's all that I could think about right now. So, in summary, in order to excel in law school, you have to be resilient. You have to have discipline. You have to care enough sa ginagawa mo. Be passionate. Practice balance. And lastly, have that genuine desire to master the law. So, if you try to work on that pagsimula mo ngayon sa law school, if you're starting class this June ba ulit, or June or August this year, I think you will not have that hard of a time sa pag-adjust sa law school. There are many resource videos online that will prep you for law school, and I think you should maximize and really make good use of what's available online for you not to have that culture shock pagpasok. Pero I don't know. I think you have to experience it yourself. I think yung culture shock na yun, part din talaga yun ng law school experience, and one day becoming a lawyer, and you'll share the same sentiments that everyone goes through. So you just be excited. Ayoko naman natakutin kayo kung ano yung papasukin nyo, pero yeah, be strong na lang. Kaya mo yan. Sige na, okay na to. Bye!